What's going on, NPL fans? My name is Frosty, aka the Alpha Like and Rock, and today I'm here bringing you our semi-final team builder and match against Tokenn, Tokenn Tube and his Salazzin Salazzes. Now, we faced him back in week 3, and we got handed this nice 3-0 loss. It was our first loss of the season, but it was also a very big learning experience too. So since then, we had made a lot of changes to the team, so I felt the team is very much more well-rounded, but he hasn't made any changes to his team. So as you can see on the screen, he still has his original team, which is Tapu Fini, Landorus, T, which is a Zmon, Mega Scizor, Reuniclus, Dragonite, Kamala, Mienshao, Sneasel, Weezing, Raichu, and Magmortar. Now, he's got a lot of wins. He does have a couple of losses. Not too horribly many. I think he just took one in the beginning on week 1, and then he took one against Cap in the Toronto Sweat Blue Jays. But his last 2 matches he hasn't battled in a while, just because they were forfeit wins that he got from basically people who stopped playing in the league. But he's still a very good coach, very well known and builds very well. So with that, we have to bring our A game, and we definitely need to make sure that we have our checks and balances in order. So with that, let's get into the team builder. Starting off with the first one I wanted to bring, which is Aladdin, our Thunderous Theron. This is a Choice Scarf Thunderous Theron with U-Turn, Thunderbolt, Hidden Power Fire, and Dark Pulse. U-Turn because he does have that Lando, and I don't want to get caught having to Volt Switch around and then have him bring that in and get a free attack off. That was something I definitely did not want to have to worry about. So I decided U-Turn was better because it's a guaranteed way out. It will also hit things like Reuniclus, which is also why I brought Dark Pulse, so if I need to get in on Reuniclus, if he does bring it, Dark Pulse will do lots of damage to it. I was thinking about rocking Life Orb, but I just felt Scarf would be better here in this instance because I wanted to have something that was really, really fast, and I wanted to kind of catch him off guard with Scarfed Thunderous Theron here. So with that, we're bringing its counterpart in Mantine. Now this is our Air Slash Mantine with a Rocky Helmet. This is for Scizor and for any of the physical threats that do damage, but hopefully, catching things like Mienshao, if it has Life Orb, and Mienshao goes for High Jump Kick, it will get resisted, and then he'll take Rocky Helmet plus that, and it pretty much allows me to get a free Air Slash, as Air Slash pretty much counters that. If I can get, if I feel he's gonna bring it in on top of it, I can go for Air Slash and do some good damage to it. So with that, Water Absorb for the Fini. This thing pretty much walls Fini. I'm also bringing Defog this time because last time I didn't bring Mantine, and he ended up setting up screens, which really sucked because I couldn't get around it. And this time I brought Defog only for the main reasoning that he's going to have screens. So if he brings the screens, I definitely want to make sure that I have a way around those screens. It's not the only one I have that it can get around the screens, so I definitely wanted to double up and make sure that that was not a problem this time around as it was last time. So with that, I'm bringing also Whitney, our defensive Miltank with, wow, do I still seriously have 60 IVs? What the hell? Okay. It should be like this, but whatever. So it's 196 in the HP stat, and then 252 in the special defenses. I'm sorry, 252 in the defenses, plus 60 in the attack to get a little bit more. Is going to be rocking Milk Drink, Stealth Rock, Brick Break, and Body Slam, as Brick Break is just going to be there for the screens. It's basically there to shatter screens. Plus, Brick Break one-shots the Sneasel, so I can switch it in on Sneasel if he decides to stay in and go for the low kick. I have the Chopple Berry, and I can go for a Brick Break and KO that Sneasel. That Sneasel is going to be a possible problem. He did bring it last time. Last time he brought it Banded, but I'm not for certain. He might bring it Scarfed this time. He could bring Life Orb. He could bring anything. Could bring it Banded again. So I don't really know for certain. With that, we are also bringing our Princess Leia Choice Scarf. Now this has just enough speed to where if I get knocked off, I will outspeed that Landorus. And a little bit of HP investments, not too much, plus the 248 and the special attack. So I have enough speed with, and I'm also bringing this one as a Scarfer as well. This is going to be a Revenger. So with Psychic Terrain and Psychic, it does a lot of damage, and plus it sets it up for Alakazam, and I didn't want to fall into last time where I tried to bring like a Calm Mindset, I think it was, and it just didn't work out. So this time I decided I'm bringing Scarf. I'm going to play it as a revenge killer. I'm going to be able to outspeed everything that I want to outspeed, and I'm going to do that. So our Princess Leia is going to be rocking Psychic, Moonblast, Hidden Power Fire, and Shadow Ball. So Shadow Ball is for that Reuniclus should he bring it. I don't want to be caught in a way where that Reuniclus, because my biggest fear is that he's going to bring Calm Mind Reuniclus. That is definitely a big threat, and so I want to make sure that I have answers for that. So with that, we're also bringing Alibaba Alakazam. This is Psychic, Hidden Power Fire, Shadow Ball, and Reflect. If I set up a Reflect, I easily will live a U-turn from a Scarfed Landorus T, as last time that was the problem, is that I did have I was invested, but I wanted to make sure that if I can set that up, that Lando T does not two-shot me with all the investments in the HP that I have, so he won't do nearly as much damage as he would. He might two-shot me, but it would still be a roll, and I believe it's a roll in my favor at that point. So, and then with that last one we're bringing is going to be our Venom, our Drapion. Now this is pretty much my win con and my switch in to Reuniclus should he bring it, because I can switch this in with Black Sludge, Swords Dance knockoff Fire Fang, which Fire Fang is for that Scizor. If I catch the Fire Fang at if I catch Scizor at +2, switching into a Fire Fang, he dies instantly. If he's already Mega Evolved, it's a roll, and it really depends on if he's taking Stealth Rock damage, so I really need to make sure that. And then Poison Jab is for that, is for the Tapu Fini, as I believe he's going to be in Tapu Fini. And I didn't bring any status because I didn't feel I need to bring status. With this one, the Black Sledge, I'm kind of iffy about it because I'm debating between this one and Figgy Berry. Figgy Berry would definitely be a very good thing to bring, as if I get weakened down, my Figgy Berry will pop and put me right back up at a decent amount of HP. But the hindsight is if I get put within range of, say, High Jump Kick does 50, just like 70, it does like 70%. So if I'm put within range of that already, then it's going to be a useless thing. So I felt Black Sludge was going to be the better one, as this will give me passive regeneration every turn, which I felt was going to be good. So with that, looking at our team again, we have Aladdin, Mantine, Whitney, Princess Leia, Alibaba, and Drapion, our Venom, our Drapion. So with that, we're gonna bring up the match and we're gonna see exactly how everything went. All right, guys, we're back, and as you can see, he pretty much brought everything I thought he was going to bring with this team. So we did prep well, as we did pretty much call 5 out of the 6 mons that he was going to bring. Reuniclus was kind of the one at the end where it was a 6th. I wasn't sure if he was going to bring it or not. It does stack up well against my team, but the biggest threats to my team is definitely the Sneasel and that Mean Shao. Those are definitely the biggest threats to my team, and I need to make sure that I handle that. So with that, like I said, I brought the best team that I felt I could bring, and so we're going to get into it. Hopefully we're going to pick up a win here, and we're going to pick up our way into the final. So let's start it off. So my first bet is to always lead with Thundurus, because Thundurus is Scarfed. I'm good to go, and if he leads with that Mind Shao, I do have a chance of KOing it. So with that, we go in, and I lead Thundurus as he also leads Mean Shao. Now here's where a tiny misplay happens. I was doing calcs, and it shows me able to KO this thing. The problem is that I clicked the wrong Thundurus spread, and this was a Thundurus that I had in there that had the Life Orb. So Life Orb Thundurus with a Thunderbolt guarantees me the KO. It's like 98 to like 111%. So it guaranteed the KO. So at this point, I have no point but to not go for it. But I had forgotten, so I didn't double check to make sure that it was Scarfed. So we go for the Thunderbolt, and I'm expecting to KO this thing, and it shows that I am faster, which is also great information to know. So at this point, I don't know what's going on, but he lives on 7%. So it shows me that he's either got some HP investment or some specially defensive investments. But it's also when I realized after, because he goes for Stone Edge and KOs us, that we lose one of our biggest offensive pressures turn 1. It does suck, but like I said, I did click the wrong calc. So it showed that I would have KO'd it, but after I changed it up and I put the Choice Scarf on, I actually didn't stand a chance of KOing it. It was like 85 to 102, so it would have had to be a really high roll. And as you see, we didn't mineral, but we actually just right in the middle. But this also puts us at a good advantage because this Mean Shao is severely weakened. So this Mean Shao is definitely severely weakened. So here, my best bet is to try to get this thing dead as much as I can. So I just decided I'm gonna go into Lele. I'm gonna set up Psychic Terrain. Now I don't know if he's gonna switch in the Reuniclus here, so my best bet is just to go for the Moonblast and kind of scout and see what he brings in. He brings in Feeny, which gets rid of Psychic Terrain. And with that, I see Feeny and I see 29%. I do get the special attack drop, but I know, and I'm assuming that these screens are coming, so I switch into Mantine immediately, and I see Light Screen, which is great because he did bring Light Screen. He did bring Light Screen and Reflect, which I did think he was going to do again because it worked so well last time. So this time I am definitely on board with it. I am understanding how it works. So he goes for Calm Mind here, as I believe I reveal Defog, and Defog gets rid of the screens, which was the biggest part of why I needed to bring Mantine, because I needed something to get rid of screens. So now he knows that he has no way of getting rid of screens, though he does have the special defense. Here I just kind of go and I let him get another Calm Mind up, as I just try to go for some air slashes just to do some chip damages. I see that he doesn't have any form of regeneration. Here that doesn't do too horribly bad. Here I just go for Tailwind to kind of get the speed. So I'm just going to kind of chip this thing down little by little. You know, if he wants to switch out, here he goes for another Light Screen. I go for Roost just to kind of get my HP back, as he goes for another Moonblast. So here, I want to make sure that those screens are not around. So I just decide to defog again. He switches into Landorus. This will scare me out because I will not at this range live a Stone Edge from there. So my switch into this is going to be Miltank. So I switch into Miltank, as he does go for the Stone Edge here and does 71%. Now here, I wasn't quite for certain what he wanted to do, and I just decided I'm going to see kind of what he wants to do. I haven't seen an item, so I'm thinking he might be Scarf, so I'm going to go for a Body Slam, and I'm just going to try either get a Para, or I'm going to try and see what if he switches out. But he actually, I go for Stealth Rocks here, as he goes for Rock Polish. So now I know that he's not Scarfed. He was not Scarfed or Banded because he now switched up moves. But still, I have not seen any sort of item. I don't have leftover. I don't see leftovers. I don't see Life Orb. So here I'm thinking it could be Expert Belt, as Expert Belt would do really well, especially if he's got Superpower here. This could definitely do it, but I am rocking, like I said, I'm rocking the Tropical Berry. So here I just decided to go for Body Slam on this turn, as he reveals the Tectonic Rage, which does hella damage, but we survive it. So here we get 29%. It does suck because now I'm within range of getting KO'd by stuff. So here, I just decided I'm going to switch. I know the Earthquake's coming. It's his guaranteed move to knock me out, as I'm going to switch into Mantine here. And unfortunately, I have to let something go down, which Mantine is probably going to be the one to go down, because I just have to do it, as I just try to get a Tailwind up at the last second, so that way I can at least have it up if he missed it. So here I decided to switch into Lele. Now here, we're down 6-4, and it's not looking very good for us, as I just lost one of my biggest walls to Feeny. But I'm not for certain about it, because he's showed me Calm Mind, he showed me Light Screen, and he showed me Moonblast. So it makes me believe he doesn't have Surf, so he doesn't have a Water type move, but it is still a decent wall, as I can still get a couple of things up before it would go down, or I can switch out. All of this, that, and the other. So here I go into Lele, and from here, if he is not invested in special defenses, I will KO this thing. I will guarantee the KO. So here, I don't think he doesn't know that I'm Scarfed, because I haven't shown it yet. I've only used one Moonblast and then I swapped out. So here I just decide I'm going to go for the Psychic. It's the most amount of damage, plus it has a chance to KO, and it actually reveals that even under Rock Polish we are faster, but we missed the KO. So he had to be decently to heavily specially defensive invested in order to live that. And it sucks because he does live on 2%, but he goes for U-turn, which is great for us, because now I know he doesn't have defog because he's got the screen, so he has no way of getting these rocks off the side of the field, which means next time the Landorus comes in, it's guaranteed to die. So I'm happy about that, because it's one less problem I have to deal with. Plus, the Sneasel is going to take 25% every time he comes in. So here he comes in, he takes 24%. Here I don't want to stay in, as I just decided I'm going to go, and I'm going to go into Whitney. I know it's coming. He goes for knockoff. I want to scout and see if he's got Life Orb, as he does reveal Life Orb, which is great for us because he's not banded, he's not scarfed, and he will get himself worn down with these rocks. He has no way of getting him off the board, but we're still down 6-3. Now here is where things start taking a turn, because I know that I need to get into things. I need to do this. I know Alakazam is faster. I know he's not going to stay in. I know he's going to get out. So here, I just decided I'm going to Mega Evolve and go for HP Fire. If he stays in, he dies. This is guaranteed. I do trace the Regenerators. He does bring that thing in. I am rocking Shadow Ball for it. As I see, it's 21%, so he's decently specially defensively invested. But at the time, I'm not for certain how much so. It could be a little bit. It could be a decent amount. I don't know for certain at this point. So here, I'm going to go into Drapion, as my switch is to go into Drapion and scare this thing out every time. as he pulls the double, which was good on him, and he goes into Landorus to sack the Landorus to see what it can go, to see what I switch into. Here he does switch into the Scizor. It does take rock damage. Here I decide I need to get a Swords Dance up. As he gets the Mega Evolve, I'm expecting Bullet Punch or Swords Dance or whatever it is, as he goes for the Roost. Now here was the problem with this. At +2, I KO this thing at 84%. Now that he's at 100, it's 84 to 100%. So unless I high roll, there's no way I KO this thing. So on this turn, I just decide, you know what? I have to go for it. I have to go for the second Swords Dance, because if I don't, I will lose. I will lose if I go for a Fire Fang and I don't carry and I don't KO it in one shot, as this thing will just outdo me. So here I just decide I'm gonna go for another Swords Dance, as he actually reveals Counter. So very good move for me not going for it, because if that had been the case, I would have probably lost this match in 3-4-0 fashion. So as it is, it does suck because we do excuse me, as it sucks because I would have a way of dealing with it, but I still don't know about the Mind Shell, if it's scarfed or not. If it's not, then it just becomes a big problem. So with that, I decided to go for the second Swords Dance, so we're at +4, and now we're guaranteed to KO this thing, and we're faster. So at this point, I don't know if he's got Bullet Punch. I don't know if he's going to go for it. He does know that last time he did bring it, but I did have to tap with Lele. So at this point, I go for Fire Fang, I KO it. Now we're down only 3-4, as he brings in Mean Shao. Now here, I know I can survive because I'm pretty HP invested in this Drapion in order to survive one high jump kick. So here I'm kind of hoping that he misses it, so that way I can kind of get him to kill himself. So I just go for the knockoff here. It's a guaranteed KO at +4, as he does 85%. Luckily enough, we do survive it. Like I said, it would have had to be a crit, but we are now at 22% as he brings in the Sneasel, which the Sneasel is faster than me. At this point, I don't want to switch into something else and take unnecessary damage. So here I'm just going to kind of hope that he goes for something that could show me, you know, maybe I can live something here, as he just goes for the Brick Break and he KOs me at that range, but he's also taking the Life Orb damage, which is very good for us. So here I go into Lele. Here I have no point not to, as we still have this to win. I believe I go for the Moonblast again. I go for Moonblast or Shadow Ball. I go for Moonblast, as it shows 39%. I know if this is a Calm Mind variant, I'm not going to do too horribly much to this thing. So I just decide to scout to see if it's Calm Mind. As he goes for Recover here, I believe this turn I decide to switch out and go into Alakazam, because Alakazam is my key to winning this. It is a modest natured Alakazam, plus I Tracer Generator, as he gets back up to full. So here I want to hit him with the Shadow Ball. I want to reveal that he's not going to be able to do too horribly much with the Shadow Balls. As he goes for the Calm Mind, now he's at +1, and with the leftovers he puts a 44%. Now with this is where it comes in handy. If he has a lot of special defense investments, he lives this guaranteed. If he does not, at the time when I was calculating this, it shows me with him fully defensively invested, and with him fully defensively invested, I do 42 to 47%, which means, it does 39 to 47%. So unless I min roll or don't roll the average, I will not KO this thing. So here I just decided to go for Shadow Ball again, and he lives on 6%. Oh, this was the heartbreaker here, as I knew it was going to be extremely difficult to deal with this thing now that I didn't have my Drapion, because now with Calm Minds, he's only taking 38 to 42%, which means I have to really get him low and hope for some special defense drops. The number on the first Shadow Ball was 61.8%. The number on the second Shadow Ball after the Calm Mind was 38.7%. So I would have KO'd this had he not had the leftovers. If the leftovers were not there, I would have KO'd him. But from here, I just decided I'm going, as he recovers, I'm going to keep going for Shadow Balls, because there's going to be a point where he's not going to be able, he's going to run out of recovers before I run out of Shadow Balls. So here, I'm just kind of stalling him through these recovers. Hopefully I can get to a point where he can't recover up, or he gets to a point where he thinks he can get to a +2 or something like that. At the point he's at, he goes for Shadow Ball, as I do live it, but now he knows after this, after the leftovers here, he's at 40%. He cannot survive another Shadow Ball. Even if I mineral 39.8%, he still gets KO'd. So here, he has to go for, I have a feeling like he has to switch out here, because if not, he's going to sack this Reuniclus, and this Reuniclus is pretty much his win clause right now to win this. But we are making the comeback, and the comeback is coming back real. So he does switch out. As he switches into Tapu Fini, and I go for another Shadow Ball. I believe he's just sacking off this Tapu Fini. So here it does 21%. I can't guarantee that I'm going to do 23% on the next Shadow Ball, so I just go for Psychic on this turn, as I know Psychic is guaranteed to KO it, and I KO the Fini as he brings in this thing. Now here's the turning point in the match. Hindsight 2020 with everything. He has shown me Brick Break and Knockoff. I also have to assume he has Icicle Crash. Now, with those three moves, that leaves one move open. Does he have Ice Shard? Does he have Ice Shard, or does he have Poison Jab? If he has Poison Jab, I'm guaranteed to outspeed this thing because of my speed investments. I made sure to speed creep this thing. He's guaranteed to die. As it is, he's guaranteed to die on any move he does now because the Life Orb recoil is going to KO him. Now here's the thing, where if I switch out and he does have Ice Shard, I switch into Lele. Lele gets the terrain back up and I don't take any damage. But I now have to worry about him switching back into Reuniclus and then Calm Minding up in my face. So what I could do is I could roll the double. I do have the Regenerator, so I'm going to get 30% of that back and I get myself back to 50, but at +1, he's guaranteed to take me out. And if he gets to a point where he is really big, he could take me out. So it all rests on this turn. Does he have Ice Shard? If he doesn't have Ice Shard, I'm guaranteed to KO with Alibaba and I win 2-0. If he has Ice Shard, it's going to come down to whether Lele can either get a Spadef drop or a crit. And at that point, there's still no guarantee, because while Lele is scarfed, it's still no guarantee that with Alakazam, if he doesn't get the if he gets the +1 on Lele, there's no guarantee that I can beat it. So I know he used about 4 to 5 recovers already, but I don't know if I can stall out all of the recovers that he has. So at this point, I basically banked this entire match on whether he has Ice Shard or not. So at this point, I go for HP Fire, and he reveals Ice Shard. This puts us pretty much on the back seat again, because I now have to rest that Lele can KO this thing with a Scarf. If it was, I will say this, if it was Specs before, it probably wouldn't have survived this long. But the fact that it basically crippled the Lando in order to kill it on rocks is basically what I wanted it to do. It revenged it to the point where it had to die to rocks. But so here we go down, we're on our last mon. He goes to his Reuniclus. His Reuniclus is going to take damage as I get in with mine. He's going to be at 61%. At this point in the match, I am hoping for Spadef drops, as I just click Shadow Ball and hope for a Spadef drop or a crit. A crit is guaranteed to KO. This range is guaranteed to KO from about 82% on. It's guaranteed. So, so what I need is I need a crit or a Spadef drop. So we go for Shadow Ball, does damage, no Spadef drop. He shows recover, and he's recovering a couple of more percent plus the leftovers. So he's outdoing it. I go for another Shadow Ball, no Spadef drop, no crit. So here we're kind of getting in the stall war. Another Shadow Ball, no Spadef drop, no crit. So at this point, like I said, I'm pretty much banking on a crit or a Spadef drop. At this point, I cannot KO it from this range, but if I do crit, I will put it within range of the next one, especially if it goes for Calm Mind here. As I go for Shadow Ball, doesn't crit, doesn't get a Spadef drop. If I had gotten a Spadef drop here, I would have actually been in great shape, because I would have had it within range to die twice, or he would have had to waste more recovers. Spadef drop, as he just goes for a recover, he's guaranteed here. So I'm really hoping for a crit, as I can KO it from this range. So I go for another Shadow Ball as he survives it, and he finally goes for Shadow Ball, and we end up losing 1-0 in the semifinals here. So hindsight 2020, yes, I could have switched. Switching probably would have been the best play, but I was banking the fact that he had I was banking pretty much on the fact that he didn't have Ice Shard. I thought that he might not have it because I do have Lele, and Lele does negate priority moves. And I thought, okay, well, if I switch Lele in and I get the terrain up, and he goes for something like Poison Jab, yes, he dies, but now I'm still in the same position I was, where it's Alakazam versus